We're speaking with Jeff Sinelli, who has a remarkable track record as a serial entrepreneur with 3 successful concepts already under his belt. He's one of the Food Channel Pro's leaders with guts. We're back with Jeff Sinelli. Jeff, what do you think is the biggest misconception by the public about working in the restaurant industry?
The biggest misconception that I would even think about is they might think it's a degrading profession because it's a minimum wage type scenario, but it's actually not. I mean, there are high-priced chefs out there. There are Starbucks, which raises the bar on pay, and it's an admirable profession. I mean, there are a lot of people in the food service industry, and I think the public doesn't really understand how much hard work it is to put out a meal on a plate. It takes more time to prepare a meal than actually to ingest or digest it. So we work hard to put food out there, and it's a big process. It's not only the restaurant industry, it's the supply chain, the manufacturers that bake the breads or bring the proteins to market. It is a very complicated industry, and if you ever sit back and take the time to understand what it takes to put food on a plate, you'd have a new appreciation for the industry.
What do you think could be done to change that perception, if anything?
Well, I think the government plays a role in it. We've been nurtured from the food pyramid early on in our childhood through educational programs, but there's farm to fork programs. There's independent filmmakers like Morgan Spurlock and documentaries that are coming out that are very informative about the industry that we're in. Some are controversial, but some are dead on. And I think the education's out there, and through theater and television and now the internet, I think we're getting a more informed customer.
Do you think there's a problem with salt in restaurant food?
Yes.
You do? How so?
Definitely.
Really?
For sure. Even if you look at Morgan Spurlock and the consumption with McDonald's, the sodium makes food taste better. It coats the palate. It's a flavor enhancer, and restaurants use it and overuse it. We were fine dining last week, and there was so much salt in a salad that I thought about sending it back. I was hungry, but I'm sensitive to the sodium. I'm on a health kick right now. I just had my blood drawn, and I looked at the 100 different categories of blood definition, and one thing I went to, I wanted to see how the sodium was. Thankfully, it was right within the healthy ranges, but that's because I don't use salt. We don't have salt on our table at home. Mm-hmm. When we do use salt, it's a Himalayan, non-iodized salt that actually has some mineral content in it. So salt I think it's overused in our industry. And you're starting to see salt advocacy groups that are creating campaigns that are causing restaurateurs to focus on salt right now. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's going to be big salt like it was big tobacco, because it's an easy fix. You simply remove it from the table. When there was water shortages or water was an issue, they started not offering water on the table. It's a real simple solution. Get the salt off the table. And if a customer requests it, they have to think twice about it. They may start eating their food without the salt because maybe the server's a little slow that day, and they might find that food actually tastes good and not desensitizing your own palate.
Yeah, it sounds like you can go pretty easily from being a CEO, Chief Vibe Officer, to being a consumer. And I would think that would help you very much in your business operations.
Well, I think you have to be a consumer first, especially of the products that you wear. If I was the head of Nike, I would make sure that I was wearing the products every day. I just so happen to be head of a hamburger chain and a sandwich chain. So I constantly eat our products, and I also eat the competitors. Mm-hmm. And I also developed a technique, because when you're in the restaurant business, you can eat a lot. And when I'm in test kitchens now, I don't digest it. I take my food in to what I call about 80%, and then I just like when you're wine tasting, because you don't want to get drunk. I don't want to get drunk off my food or have weight gain, so I actually have a spit cup. And it's been I get to taste more food. I have longer tasting sessions, and I don't have the caloric gain at the end of the day. So it's a technique that it's part of my success in weight loss, because if you're in the food industry, you better taste your product and you better know what it does and how it tastes and how it reacts. And actually how it ingests, but you don't have to ingest the whole thing.
So you basically get rid of it before you swallow it?
I do, but I really get into the mastication of it, and I go deep into the flavors and the smells and the textures and the chews and the bites. And
wow.
It's because I need to know everything about the product. I need to know more about it than you do, and you're my consumer.
Are there any positives for the restaurant industry during this Great Recession?
Now's the time for restaurateurs to grow. It's if you have a healthy company, there are abundant opportunities out there, whether it's real estate, great talent, and employees, because a lot of companies are downsizing. There's an array of talent out there, and prime sites for the taking right now if you're in the position to capitalize on them.
Are you involved at all with the Texas Restaurant Association or any other restaurant groups?
We're members of the Texas Restaurant Association, the National Restaurant Association, and also there's a great group that I belong to called YPO, Young Presidents, and we formed there's restaurant roundtables, and we have a restaurant forum. So I go around with my restaurant forum to 4 different cities once a year, and we go to 20, 30 restaurants over a 24-hour period. It's great.
What challenges that are facing the restaurant industry keep you up at night?
Foodborne illnesses, a lot of the supply chain challenges, where the product starts out, whether it's at the manufacturing plant or in the fields of California where they're growing vegetables. I'm real concerned about that because there's environmental issues. I heard the other day that cows are eating plastic bags, and that's causing a new thing in cows that which plastic bags are bad for the environment, and now the cows are eating them and it's tainting the meat. So these are the things that they keep me up, because we're relying on a food supply out there that we have to make sure we have a healthy planet so that we continue to provide healthy food for our sourcing. So I think the environment, our ecosphere, our planet needs to be healthy first, so that our cows and our vegetables and our whole supply chain can be healthy.
If for some reason you couldn't work in the restaurant industry, what other industry would you choose?
I early on, I really wanted to be some type of pro athlete. And I had a little short stint in the Professional Lacrosse League. I thought I also could be a pro hockey player, but I couldn't skate. But professional athletics, I'm very athletic. I like to stay healthy, so I think it would be somewhere in pro sports.
When you talked about taking advantage of real estate locations in this market, have you heard anything, are you seeing anything where funding is easing up for franchisees?
There is a lot of money out there. I'm hearing it from the private equity community. We are, as a company, weekly, daily, being hit with inquiries about, is which for sale, or do you need money for expansion? It's out there, and I think that it's very much like hawks. They're circling around waiting for the opportunities. So the money's sitting on the sidelines, and it's starting to free up. Mm-hmm. And we're hoping, as restaurateurs and as business people, that it becomes available, because that's what we're a franchise company. That's what we need to help our concept grow.
We've been talking with Jeff Sinelli of Which and Burguesa Burger. Check out the next part of this series as we explore what it takes to be a leader with guts. For Food Channel Pro, I'm Ellen Codiff.